Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another extra special episode of the Solo Gamer Podcast. Today, I am not Ian, as you can tell by my bald ass head. I am Taylor, and I am hosting today while Ian is busy having fun on his vacation with his fiance, and we're super excited for him. But as the old saying goes, the show must continue, right? So I am here with my two trusty co-hosts, Kyle and Craig.
Yo.
Kyle, how you doing, man?
Great, man. As you can tell, as of today, I actually am Ian, if you can see the background.
You are. You've infiltrated the space.
I have. I heard he was gone.
Right.
No, yeah, we're just house sitting, watching the dogs, hanging out with the pups. I love these two little guys, so it's always a fun time to come hang out whenever they take vacation. So, yeah.
Oh yeah. Are you doing kind of the stay at Ian's house and watch, or like do you leave periodically, or how does it work?
Yeah, I mean, I've had to leave periodically. I've got other dogs at my house too, and I felt like it'd be kind of a hassle to have all of them in one house, so I kind of bounce back and forth, and that
Okay.
way, my house is like a 10-minute drive, maybe.
Oh, okay.
If there's
Yeah,
no
that's not fair.
traffic, it's like 8. So I just go home and grab some clothes for the next couple days or whatever I need to do. So yeah, it's just been bouncing around a little bit, but no, it's been fun. Surprisingly, though, I haven't had a whole lot of time to play a lot of games. But
Right. Well, there's still time. There's still time.
yeah.
The week is young still. And also, I am joined by another one of my good friends, Craig, also former co-host of the Solo Gamer podcast. I don't know if anybody remembers that era.
Long
There was-
ago,
Right?
when Ian abandoned you temporarily, I was
Yeah.
I was the fill-in for I don't know, probably a solid like 7 episodes or something like that. I was here for a little bit, but we had a good time.
I was gonna say it was a solid like month and a half of shows, and that's a cool little lineup. I'll always remember that. I feel like the Solo Gamer has gone through several different little iterations and combinations of people, but real ones will remember the Taylor and Craig years.
Real ones will remember the big beautiful wallet, if
The
nothing
big
else.
beautiful wallet. You know what's funny is when I first started like talking to my girlfriend, I like told her that I did a podcast, and I apologized beforehand because I was like, "Oh, another white guy with a podcast? How original!" But I showed her that episode because I was like, "This is a pretty good summation of like what we do and how goofy we are," and she really loved that episode. So
It is very good. That is just because I've done so many podcasts now on my own and with you and other people throughout the years, that's one of my favorite moments ever being on a show. It was just so stupid and so funny.
oh yeah, there are several moments I feel like in like this show's history where we've had some genuine like laugh out loud, I cannot control my laughter moments, and that is absolutely one of them. So
You guys have had a lot of them too since just bringing the show back. I listen every Friday. You guys are like I'm working still, but it's a chiller day at work. It's quieter. You guys are my go-to listening on Fridays now.
Oh,
so.
we appreciate that, man.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
yeah, well, we've loved having you on, and excited to have you here. So
Hell yeah. Excited to talk some games.
hell yeah. Well, let's jump into it. Oh, sorry.
Oh,
Go ahead,
sorry.
Kat.
No, just real quick. I mean, you mentioned you're doing podcasting yourself. So, I mean, where can we find you, man?
Yeah, so on my YouTube channel, Craig's Game Room, I do a bi-weekly show called Generations Behind. It is mostly focused on retro games, but we do talk, just about what we're playing. We show, like, collection pickups. We usually have unrelated video game banter for at least half an hour because we just like to make fun of each other and all the other things that we do.
That sounds like
But
us.
usually it's, like, a solid retro topic for at least an hour, like either, like, favorite games from, like, PS1, or we'll do, like, how you guys have the experience point will be, like, the Ocarina of Time episode or the Sonic Adventure episode, things like that. So every 3 episodes we do, like, a game-specific one. That way we're forcing ourselves to always be playing something retro. Like, next up we're going to be doing, just because we think that the games are short enough, we're going to be doing Doom 1, 2, and 3. Or not Doom 1, 2, 3, Doom 1, 2, and 64, since 64 is technically the 3rd game. So we're trying to keep it in order. But yeah, so anything, like, pre-360 PS3 generation is kind of our focus. So
Cool.
Hell yeah.
So if
That's
you like
awesome.
old
Sounds like
stuff,
a lot of fun.
yeah, if you like old stuff, it's a show for you. And that was part of why we started it too, is because it's like I'm like, man, there's so many old games I want to play, and I'm like, this gives me an excuse to do that. But now it's like all I play is old games, so it's like when someone asks me what my game of the year is, I'm like, I have no idea at this point. I've played like five. I've played like 5 games that come out this year, and like 20 games from like 1992. So
Isn't it overwhelming nowadays?
It
though?
is.
I just
Oh my
games are
God.
just good games
Dude.
specifically are just flying out the door now.
There's too many,
Yeah.
and it's
Way
like
too
there's
many.
so many that it's like I almost just like I just won't play any of them. It's fine.
Yeah.
I'm like one day I'll finish Expedition 33. One day, it's like, but Mina the Hollower, that's my priority next month. I'm very
okay.
excited
Halloween,
for that.
right?
But exactly, but that's also like very retro adjacent, so it's like still kind of in theme with the sickness that I've kind of diagnosed myself with of only playing old stuff. So
I love it.
it's a simple life, but it's a fun life.
There you go. God, I love me some retro games too. So I'm excited to check out that Doom 2 episode. That's a game that means a lot to me. It's very near and dear to my heart.
Oh,
so
really?
I'll
Cool. That's
definitely
fun.
be
Yeah, I've played a
tuning
little
in.
bit of the original Doom, and I've never played Doom 2 or Doom 64, so it's gonna mostly be a fresh look from all of our eyes, because I know the other guys I do it with, they haven't played any of them. So
I haven't
Oh, yeah.
either.
I haven't even played Doom 2016. I haven't played Doom Eternal. I got a lot of Doom to catch up on. So, but I know I'll like it. Especially
You will.
even just the soundtracks, absolute fire. So I've heard the soundtracks a million times.
Nice.
100%. Yeah, it's those games are classic. I think you're really really gonna like them, and I think that the new ones too like add like a modern flair that feels retro, but kind of captures like a new age first person shooter aspect to it that I think is really really good. So
Nice. Yeah, I'm
it'll be a
excited.
fun time. But yeah, I guess we'll go ahead and start off with our evergreen segment here and talk about kind of what we've been playing lately. Let's start with you, Kyle. What have you been playing lately?
Life.
The game of life.
Yeah, I don't know. Work, especially this week, has just felt so brutal. I don't know what it is. But yeah, I feel like, as I'm getting older, I'm definitely realizing I'm becoming more and more of a creature of habit.
Mm-hmm.
And even simple things like, house sitting at my friend's house for some reason just kind of like throws a wrench in your day. Not necessarily in a bad way, but you're never like, it takes a little bit to finally like get comfortable to the new environment. And so for me, it's like I've just felt like I've just been going to bed earlier and like just kind of, more exhausted through the day. And I haven't had a whole lot of time to game, to be honest, unfortunately. But yeah, I'm a little bit closer to the gym though, so I've been liking that.
There you go.
Getting some real life experience points.
Yeah, there you go.
Level up that strength build.
Yep.
There's a barbarian in our midst.
That's
yeah.
cool, man. Yeah, I know that sometimes whenever I've like stayed over somewhere, like house sat for like my parents or something, I always have to bring one like creature comfort video game thing with me to play.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah.
So that's always been my mode.
I will say though, I mean, Mariners have been hot lately.
There you go.
Shout out to the Mariners; they just clinched the playoffs,
Congrats.
and working towards possibly getting number 1 seed in the AL, which would be awesome. I'm not going to make it too much of a sports episode, but I have been watching them quite a bit over here, and then I had to throw in the Seahawks sweater there for tomorrow's matchup for you.
Yeah.
If my family watches this, they might throw up, but I respect it.
But no, yeah, really excited about the Mariners. So I've actually been spending quite a bit of time just watching all their games every day because finally, for once, we have a really good team.
There you go. Well, I'm excited. I've always liked the Mariners, so I'll definitely be rooting for them in the playoffs here soon.
Okay.
But Craig, what have you been playing, man? What's been new on the docket?
Yeah, so I've been a little busy too, unfortunately. I've been trying to squeeze in when I can. Last main thing I've played, which I probably won't talk too much about just because I know Ian's already talked a lot about it on here, is Mafia: The Old Country. I haven't played it in about a week, but I'm about halfway through it. I like it. And you guys know his criticisms and listen to the show to know his criticisms. And as an outsider, I'm like, it kind of makes me laugh just because I'm just like, to me, it's like all the things he's saying, like you're kind of working towards the next cut scene. The story's great, but the gameplay's not that good. And the part of me is like, that's kind of why I'm loving it, because I never play games like that. Like, I'm so out of like the AAA kind of space and realm, or even AA, because most of everything I play is either retro or indie nowadays. That something like this is almost like a nice kind of like, I don't know how to describe it, but just kind of like a nice break from what I'm usually used to. So playing something super narrative heavy, the gameplay is all right. It's just kind of there, but nothing excellent. But the story's good. The voice acting's good. I love the atmosphere. Just having a game in 1900 Sicily is just cool. I'm pretty sure this is the only game that's ever done that. So environmentally and everything else, I'm really digging it. Definitely going to see it to the end. And like I said, it'll probably be like the 6th game from this year that I've actually played and beaten, so that'll be nice.
There you go.
And then, last weekend I was in Arizona for a family reunion, so I was busy, and then I have to do another little bit of traveling this weekend for a friend's birthday, so I am, like, not really wanting to do anything, because every night it's like, I'm working, I'm coming home, and then I don't have a lot of time between having to do stuff around the house before going out of town again. So I've been using the old 3DS and playing some Pushmo in bed every night. Have either of you guys ever heard of Pushmo?
No, I have not.
So this is like a really weird niche intelligent systems, first-party Nintendo series. Intelligent Systems, famous for making the Paper Mario games, making Fire Emblem, stuff like that. But this is a puzzle game. And these were a series of games. I believe there's 4 or 5 of them on the 3DS and Wii U. So it's kind of sad because I was playing it and I was thinking about it. I'm like, wow, 3DS and Wii U, these games got no physical copies. They're just dead and gone now because you can't download anything off of the 3DS or Wii U eShops anymore. So these games are they're kind of lost to time in a way, which is sad and interesting. But it's because it's a puzzle game. It's like, I could do just like a couple levels every night before bed and kind of get the satisfaction of playing a game without getting way too invested in something.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah, so the way like Pushmo works is pretty simple. You're a chubby little guy, and you just kind of move blocks around. It's as simple as that. But what it is there's about, I think it is 3 layers that you could push blocks out, and there's a 4th layer that's as far back as the blocks can go. Your goal essentially is to get to the top of the blocks every time to save a child. And you're pulling these blocks in and out in different configurations, just trying to find your way to the top. The part of the game that becomes tricky is that you can move blocks from the side as well, but you cannot move blocks if you're on top of that block. So, like, if you got something that's kind of like a U shape and you're trying to push it out more, you cannot be standing on it. You either have to be on another block above it that it can reach, or on the ground on the outside. So that's kind of where the real thinking of the game comes. And it gets pretty tricky. I'm not even halfway through the game. I think I counted there's like 116 levels. I think I'm on somewhere in like the 30s, and I'm already bashing my head against the wall. Yeah. So I'm kind of afraid. I'm just like, am I going to get brain skill checked? Not even 33% of the way through the game. But it's really clever. It's really cute. You get that satisfaction when you finally figure it out. You're like, oh, duh. Like, it was right in front of me the whole time, and I didn't realize it. So it's great. It's an excellent little game. It's a shame the only way you can play it now if you didn't buy it years ago is piracy. But you know what? Whatever. Pirate your 3DS games. No one's losing out on money anymore at this point. Every game has been sold out of stores physically. Everything is going to secondhand people if you buy physically. And digitally, there's no other way to get it. So, to me, I'm just like, whatever. Do what I did.
Right.
Well, I guess the question I have for you is, how many children have you personally killed?
As of yet, no child left behind.
Okay.
There is a button to skip levels, but I refuse. I'm just like, I will not let this defeat me. I'm like, I'd rather be on the same level for 3 hours than skip to the next stage. I'm like, this game looks like it was made for 5-year-olds, and I'm not going to be the 30-year-old that can't finish it. But it's cute, it's fun, it's a great little puzzle game. Like I said, if you have a 3DS and you're okay with going by a little bit nefarious means, 100% check it out.
Cool. Yeah, I've always thought about one of my biggest regrets probably in the last 10 years or so when it comes to games has to have been not buying more eShop stuff in like the last like week or so that it was around.
Hmm.
Because honestly, I kind of expected at some point during the Switch One's lifespan that we would get some of the older Pokemon games put onto the eShop and allow us to play it on the Switch. And had I known
Hmm.
they would still not be out to this day, I would have probably bought every single like old school Pokemon game on that eShop. And
Yeah,
I'm
that's the
kicking
last
myself.
official way they were released.
I'm kicking myself that I never did that because I remember I specifically had the thought I was like maybe I should just buy these games again just on the off chance they never came back.
Hmm.
I wish I would have listened to myself.
Yeah,
You guys
I will
can't
say.
be the
Oh,
only
go ahead.
ones, though. No, sorry, you
Hmm.
guys can't be the only ones, though. I mean, what I'm hearing
Definitely
is a
not.
missed opportunity here.
It's very strange because it's like there's many dozens, if not hundreds, of games exclusive to these consoles that were only released digitally, and it's like now they're just kind of gone. And it's like it's very easy to hack your 3DS. That's all I'm gonna say. But it's a shame that that's the only option. It's like there's Crimson Shroud on the 3DS. That is a full D&D campaign on the 3DS. It's like the super niche game no one knows about. It's super cool. It's all about dice rolls, and it's literally like playing a D&D campaign on your 3DS. And it's like that now that's just gone forever unless you hack your 3DS. And it's like that's a shame.
Wow.
And it's like that's like level 5 games that they have a bunch of exclusives on there. There's tons of stuff they never made physical, so it's just kind of going to be forgotten about, except for the big old dweebs like me that are into like the 3DS scene still. So
Hey, we need this stuff for preservation though, you know what I mean?
no, totally.
Piracy in the name of preservation.
I'm totally for it. There's some definitely some really good, especially for like Wii U and 3DS. There's been a lot of people that have been very good about keeping that stuff alive, and there's many websites out there with many of these games. So there's a way, but it just shouldn't have to be that way. You should be
Right.
able to, especially some of these games. It's like by the time the 3DS came out, a lot of people are already over the touchscreen of the
Yeah.
DS era, and most games just use buttons anyway and just use the bottom screen for text or a map. It's like so many of these games just get upres and ported, but I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not even always totally up to Nintendo. It's like a lot of these companies that made these games also could probably do if they want to, and maybe they just don't see it being worth the time and effort to port. But can't imagine it'd be that much work for some of these games.
No,
The games are already made, so and it's
especially
like
now, it's like they're like super
3DS
retro.
emulation. 3DS emulation is super duper easy. So it's like you could get the stuff working on other consoles, I'm sure.
Oh, for
Um,
sure.
but I'm not totally sure what the deal is. I'm not a game dev, so I shouldn't speak too out of pocket. I just want there's so many good things that are inaccessible, and it makes me sad. That's the end of my TED talk. I've been rambling. I apologize.
Oh, you're good.
You're good. I'm right there with you, man. I know in my collecting days, which hopefully I'll get back to here pretty soon.
Hmm.
Hopefully, I was always big on preservation and making sure that I can hold the space for some of these things so that way they don't fade away into obscurity. You know what I mean? So,
Hmm.
um, but awesome. Yeah, I guess to move on to myself, I'll talk a little bit about what I've been playing lately, and I've been playing a lot more in this last week than I have in a while, which has been really really nice. So,
Good.
the first thing that I've been playing a lot more of, not even playing more of, absolutely crushing, is Silent Hill 2.
Mm.
Um, the bug finally hit me. I don't know what it was or why it happened, but it seemed like over the last like several months since I bought the game, I just was not in the mood for what Silent Hill was kind of giving me. And it didn't make a whole lot of sense because I love horror games and I love like Japanese horror specifically. I think has a very like unique vibe to it than any other kind of like horror genre. It just seems like their propensity to make really good atmospheric horror is like just always on point. As you guys know, and I'm sure the audience knows, I'm a big Resident Evil fan. So um, I don't know why it just didn't hook me, but then over the last like week or so, I've just been absolutely crushing it. I think I'm a little over halfway done with it. I'm like kind of like right around like the 15-hour mark, and I've been having our good friend Jordan Cream Lord out there tell me how far away I am from beating it. And he says I'm really really close. So I'm hoping to have that finished by hopefully by Friday or maybe this weekend.
And when the Cream Lord tells you you're close, you're really close.
You keep going.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I had to say
You're almost there.
No, that's good. That's good.
Excellent.
So yeah, man, it's been really really good. I think one of the biggest things that's got me playing it a little bit more too is I think the mystery of the game has finally hooked me a little bit better. Like so much so to the point where I feel like I have like kind of a working theory of like what I think is going on in the story, because if there's one thing I know about Silent Hill is that it's a very like metaphorical series. Like a lot of Silent Hill in itself, I think, is kind of like an allegory, and also there's a lot of symbolism in it that I think also feeds into the narrative and gives you a little bit better of an idea of what's going on. But I've had kind of the narrative Lego experience of like getting a clue or like a note or like a picture that kind of pieces the story together of kind of like what's going on here, a little bit better than maybe I thought from my initial first time playing it. So it's been going really really well, and I also think that with Halloween coming up too, I'm also getting in the mood for like a little bit more of a spookier kind of horror game, you know? So I feel like that mood is finally hitting me. So it's feels like I'm in the right pocket for it now, you know?
Nice. Do you have any interest in playing the original now after playing the remake?
I do. I've thought about it. I remember I owned it at one point in time. I think I owned like the first 3 at one point in time and ended up selling it, unfortunately. But the first one I had, and I purposefully kind of like went in blind too, because I think the second one, so Silent Hill 2, the remake, this one that just came out, is the same story as the first one, like the original first one, I think, right? Because it's got the same main character, I want to say.
I don't know, honestly. I'm not familiar. I know the series, but I'm not familiar with it. I haven't played any of them, so...
Okay.
I just know that 2 is most people's favorite, so...
Yeah, that's what I've heard too, but I think that... I want to say that, like, the main character in 2... and I don't know why I'm like forgetting his name. But I think it's the same character in the original first game, and then in the second game you play as like a female character. So I don't know like how much overlap there is.
I'm googling it. They said that they're set in the same city, but in separate parts of town, and they also have no direct connection between them. Apparently.
Oh, okay, interesting. So yeah, no, I'm definitely interested in playing the first one at some point. I love the old school Resident Evil games. So I can't imagine it would be like too jarring to go back and play some of those ones.
I've been thinking about that be like my Halloween kind of go-to this year. I've never played the PS1 versions of 1, 2, or 3. I've only ever played like remake versions of all of them, so I think it'd be fun to... Because now they're all on PlayStation, so...
This is true.
They're also on PC, but it feels right to play them on PlayStation. What am I going to do? Play with a Stadia controller? That wouldn't be right.
Yeah.
I could.
That's so funny. You have a
right.
Stadia controller just within arm's reach.
Everyone makes fun of me. This is the best gaming controller of all time. I truly believe that. This is my go-to for everything. I love the Stadia controller. Always charged, always plugged in. It is so comfortable. Although, Switch 2 Pro Controller does definitely give it a run for its money, because Switch 2 Pro Controller is incredible.
The thumbstick placement for Xbox is something I just can't get over, though. I'm so used
That's
to
fair.
it.
That's fair. I respect it.
No, the Switch 1 Pro Controller has a really, really good feel to it, too. So it's not surprising that the second one does.
Somehow, it's way better. Because I was like, everyone said it was better when it came out, and I was just like, oh, yeah, I'm sure people are just hyped because it's a new thing. And then for my birthday, my parents got me a Switch 2 Pro Controller. And, like, as soon as I went to move the stick, I was like, oh my god. I'm like, it feels like somehow, like, it feels like a totally different beast. It's hard to explain until you use it, but it's a game changer. It's excellent.
Speaking of Silent Hill, I've been scrolling on TikTok and seeing some stuff about Silent Hill F.
Yeah.
Apparently it releases tomorrow, right? Dude, and
really?
Steam ratings 9 out of 10, Metacritic 86%. I mean, it's looking like a banger.
It looks really good.
Yeah.
And this one's not developed by Bloober Team, right? This is a different team?
Neobards Entertainment.
Interesting.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, no, I've heard it's really good. It looks really, really good. I think I saw the trailer from like the last state of play and was really impressed by what I saw. So
Well, that was in my bucket list. Last episode was pushing myself to start playing some horror games. Um, and Silent Hill F is looking like it's pretty darn good, and it might be one of those games that I need to try out.
It's
is that
looking
the
pretty
first
spooky.
one?
Yeah. Well, I've watched.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
I guess I don't know. I don't know if you count The Last of Us. I mean, it's got its scary elements.
It's got
to
some
it.
horror elements for sure.
Yeah, but it definitely is paced really well. So there's a lot of breaks in between and cutscenes where you're just safe. You definitely realize when you're like safe, and it's going to be safe for a while. You know.
Yeah, for sure. Damn, I almost wish I could like watch you play it. Are you and Ian gonna get together and like play it, or?
Yeah, I think that might be something that I start streaming with because I know I've been talking about it for a little while. I've just been so freaking busy, but
Hell yeah.
I think that when I jump into that, that's probably where I'm going to start streaming is streaming the scariness and watching me. I think it'll help me push through it too because if I feel like somebody else is watching, I won't be able to just be like, okay, I'm done. You know?
Right. You gotta entertain us. You
Yeah.
gotta keep it going.
Yeah. So I need something to push me through it. But yeah, man,
Playing like this.
yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
Jacket, like hoodie, like tied up all the way, so it's just like a little hole.
Yeah. I'm going to start with Dead Space because it's more of a action horror. You can
My
shoot
man.
back. The ones that I really struggle with are things like Alien Isolation, where it's like there's no combat. You just need to
Yeah.
be smart and run, and hide.
Yeah, so we'll work you into Amnesia: The Dark Descent.
Oh boy.
We're gonna get you a PS4 off of eBay with PT still installed.
Oh gosh, that'd be
That
awesome.
talk about a horrifying game. Shit made me almost piss myself. PT
I
was
know.
terrifying.
You know what I keep thinking about too? Actually, I was thinking about PT recently because, as everybody knows, PT was actually supposed to be a Silent Hill game, directed and made by Kojima, and I almost wonder like if there are any overlaps between like maybe some of the notes that like Konami had for that Silent Hill game and how much of that made it into the Bloober Team remake. I don't know. That's like something that's been on my mind lately is like how much of that made it into this,
It's definitely possible.
Yeah.
because it kind of seemed like a completely different game,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Like I almost didn't think I don't think there was like any overlap except maybe like the main character being Norman Reedus, but
Mm-hmm. Man loves his Hollywood celebrities.
Kojima just has a hard on for Norman Reedus, man.
True. Although I think Robert Pattinson is going to be his man soon. The main character of Fizzant definitely. If you look at the poster for Fizzant, that looks like Robert Pattinson 100%.
Ooh,
I'm convinced
that would make
that's
a lot of
Robert
sense.
Pattinson. Mm-hmm.
A good director always
Speaking
has
of-
his couple stars, you know.
Kojima, I know we got to get into the topic. Have you guys seen the preview for? I think it's called OD.
Yeah, it looks also terrifying.
Yeah.
That's the Xbox one, right? That he's
Mhm.
making.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the preview for it a long time ago. I think it was like for a developer direct or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had a full-blown trailer come out yesterday, and it looks really good.
Yeah.
Oh,
super,
damn.
super
I
good.
don't know how I missed that.
It's very
Yeah,
terrifying.
he did like a whole like Kojima presentation. He announced like there's like Kojima credit cards in Japan now. He's doing everything. So
He's merchandising himself.
why wouldn't he?
That's true.
That's Kojima.
credit cards. That's hilarious.
Gosh. I still gotta play through Death Stranding, man. That's one of the like big games for me this year that like I would love to just go Death Stranding 1 into Death Stranding 2. But
Mhm.
I don't know when I'm gonna have the 80 hours to
I was gonna say
knock that out.
that'll lead you until December 31st of 2025. If you start that tonight, probably those games are so long.
I know. That's just story of my life this year, man. There's just been so many games that have come out this year that are sequels to things that I at least want to play like a little bit before I jump into the second one. I mean, Kingdom Come Deliverance, Kyle, you've talked about that one.
Mhm.
That's one I want to play, but I'd like
Yeah,
to
I
play
really
a
want to
little
play
bit more of the first one first, you know?
Yeah.
It does seem
Um,
super good.
Absolutely. So, other than that, one other game that I've been playing this week that I wanted to talk about just a little bit is Lies of P.
Mm.
Oh,
So, for those that don't know, Lies of P is kind of like a Souls-like game, but it's set in this weird uh gothic Victorian like setting that's very very Bloodborne-esque, but all of the characters are apparently based off of like the old like Brothers Grimm Pinocchio story. So you've got like the main character you play as is Pinocchio P, as the titular P.
yeah.
Um, so
This
it's
is Pinocchio when he's been through some shit.
yeah,
Now he's just
exactly.
P.
Now he's an anime boy, but
It's
yeah,
one way to sell a game.
right. And, hey, it got me in. Well, actually, I got it off of they had it on PS Plus for free like
Me too.
a couple weeks ago, and I was like, I've been wanting to play it because everybody I've talked to that's played the game is like, this is the best Souls-like game that is not made by From Software.
Mhm.
And I have to agree. And the nice part, I think, too, is that it does have difficulty sliders. So,
Oh.
it's not like the true FromSoft experience where like the difficulty you get out of the box is just what it is. There's actually like a difficulty slider. I think there's like a regular mode, which is kind of like the hard mode. There's like an easy mode, then there's like a story mode to it as well. So for those of you out there that just kind of just want to get in and like experience the story, like
Yeah.
you can absolutely do that and have it not run into too much resistance. Which
It's a
I think
smart
is really
idea.
cool.
I also think it's funny that the difficulty slider only goes backwards.
Right?
It's kind of
That's
a
kinda-
power move.
Yeah.
That's kind of always how I thought it would be. Like if FromSoft had ever decided to add difficulty sliders, like the regular difficulty would just be hard, Like,
Yeah.
So,
Makes sense.
but it's really really good. I'm only on like the third boss, and it's been really really cool. Pinocchio gets like these power ups for like he has like a metal arm that has like a bunch of different attachments to it. So the first one you get is like a grappling hook sort of thing, where if there's like an enemy that's like across a chasm or is like on the other side of the street, you can kind of like grapple onto them and like bring them over to you like Scorpion style, just like get over here. Bring them to you, and then there's like another power up you can get that's like a electricity arm. So it's like if you are fighting puppets that are more like mechanical or whatever, they do like ×2 or ×4 electricity damage, like by like punching them, which is really cool. So I think in almost like a Mega Man style way, like the sense I get is that like you go through the game like killing these different puppets, and then you take their abilities like Mega Man and use them to like fight through the game.
That's
which
cool.
I always thought was a really really cool idea, and I don't understand why more games never did that. So
We should see more games to copy Mega Man, to be honest.
Yeah.
true.
Mega Man's so cool.
That's literally like what I've always thought like Lies of P was, is it's just like Mega Man, Pinocchio, Souls like those three things just throw it into a bag and generates you a really good game. So I'm excited to keep playing it because I've heard the ending is really really good. Like that's one thing everybody keeps saying, is that like they obviously tease a sequel, but apparently the ending is like amazing. So we'll see.
I really hope your final ability is just a really long nose and you just go nuts in the
Dude.
arena with the
Right.
boss.
You can lie in the game. That's another part of it too, as the name would suggest, Lies of P. You get into like these different situations where you have to like lie to like get into certain things,
That's funny.
but your nose doesn't fucking grow.
It's bullshit. 0 out
What's
of
the
10.
deal with that?
That's a missed opportunity.
Now I don't want to play it anymore.
False advertising.
They lost me.
Well,
Right?
I guess it kind of plays into the alternate universe where like Pinocchio's a badass and like can lie and a little bit more human, I guess.
Right. Something tells me it plays into something at the end of the game. Like depending on like how much you lie or something during the game, like
The
maybe
bigger
you
your
get-
nose grows. Just at the end.
just all at once too. It stays normal through the whole game, and then at the end you just yeah.
Yeah, what if it's a curse, and the final boss releases that or something,
Hey, I like the way you think.
Yeah.
Look at that.
So yeah, that's pretty much it. I haven't played a ton of Metaphor much to Craig's chagrin this week. So
Let me down. It's so good. It's so good.
it is very, very good.
The longer I've mulled on that game, the more I'm like, yeah, it's an all timer. It's excellent. I love that game. I really want to play it again. It's just that it's so long. But I also really want the Platinum Trophy, and you have to play it at least twice to get the Platinum Trophy. So,
Yeah, can we talk about that? Like, these developers, can we start making just a little bit shorter games?
to be fair, that's
we don't have time
that's
for
the
this.
Atlas way. Atlas
Yeah.
doesn't release a game under 70 hours. It's just not what they do.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying. It just feels like every like really good single player game is you're looking at 50 hours plus, and it's just like I kind of like those games that just get to the point and it's a really good experience.
Me too, but I know you're not a big JRPG guy, but that's kind of like I said, the Atlas way. Like when you're playing an Atlas game, you're basically you're getting the deal of a lifetime. You're getting a 70 to 180 hour experience for $60, and it's gonna change the way that you look at life by the time you're done with it, because they're so provocative, just like well written and provocative, and everything about them. They're so good.
Heck yeah.
And Metaphor is so cool just because it's so political. Like it's like it's like Game of Thrones level of like deep politics and like world building. It's so easy to get so engrossed, and it's like you don't want to play it during the week. You want to wait for the weekend when you can play like 12 hours at a time, because that's how once you start you don't want to stop. It's so good.
Heck yeah. Oh,
yeah,
so I wanted to. Dude, sorry. I was reading about OD, and apparently co-written by Jordan Peele. By the way.
Yes, I did hear that, which is exciting.
I did hear about that too. Yeah, that's awesome. Didn't he have a movie just come out that like nobody liked though?
So there's like a lot of
yeah.
There's a lot of drama about this. So apparently he's like a producer and like just enough to put his name on it to help promote the movie, but he had like pretty much no involvement in the creation of it and the idea of it. So it was like just basically like a PR move, and you can tell that like he definitely was not involved, because apparently it's really bad.
Yeah, I was gonna say I thought I heard about that recently. How much of that too? Like I don't know much about the movie industry, but like how much of that too is like him, like them putting out the movie, seeing that it gets bad reviews, and being like, I gotta distance myself from it. I didn't really work that hard on it, you guys. Come on.
I mean,
That's
he
funny.
may have called me and texted me a few times, but
Yeah, we may have some breaking insider information.
I did show up one time, but I was just bringing coffee. It wasn't really much.
Right.
And just to save myself, because for some reason my brain wasn't working right, I said provocative. I meant to just say thought-provoking when I was talking about Metaphor, and my brain went to the wrong place. So
I like
nothing provocative.
It's sexy.
Dude, Metaphor's hot.
I've been provocated a couple times, let me tell you.
Oh.
Oh man,
That Hulkenberg, let me tell you.
Dude, she is. Oh my god, she's such a good character. We can't get on Metaphor because that'll be the rest of the show. But
I know.
honestly, I know you have Game Pass most likely.
Yeah.
I think that I know Taylor said otherwise in the show. I think Metaphor is a game that could possibly turn people into a JRPG fan. I think it's good enough. So
Well, I really did enjoy Claire Obscure, and I know Taylor says that there is quite a bit of a hint of JRPG in there, and so
Absolutely.
yeah, I mean, I'm totally open to trying some things. So I definitely will try to take a look into that, because the more you guys talk about it, the more I'm like, this sounds actually pretty good.
yeah, it has the more anime aesthetic, but it really doesn't have like a lot of the anime bullshit. Like there isn't any fan service. There's not like a lot of cringy dialogue. It's really kind of just the aesthetic that's anime. Nothing else really about it, I would say, Taylor, unless you disagree. It's actually that anime, really.
No, I would agree. And I would say that that's honestly the same with even like Persona, at least from what I've played. Like, yes, it has an anime aesthetic. Yes, sometimes you get kind of like a little bit of the anime tropes, but I still think those games can be enjoyed too by like non-anime enjoying people as well. So, but yeah, I agree, doubly so for Metaphor.
True, but if you think Metaphor is long, it's like play Persona 5 Royal. That's like minimum 120 hours game. It's literally one of the probably not including like MMOs, like top like single player straight games. Persona 5 Royal has to be like in the top 3 longest games probably ever made. It's incredibly long.
Yeah,
you skip all the cutscenes and it's still like 80 hours. It's insane.
I got a buddy that I play League with quite regularly, and I remember it felt like for like years he was telling me he was still playing Persona 5. I'm like, are you not done with this game, dude?
It's a full-time job.
It really is. But it's like one of the things that I kind of like about it, and I think I've explained this on the show before too, is that I play it like I'm kind of watching an anime, because there are really like tons of time spent where you're like not even really like actively playing, and I know that that sounds kind of bad, but in reality, I think it's kind of nice, you know.
Yeah.
Like you get through like a dungeon, or like you get done fighting like a particularly hard boss, and then I just get to watch a little cutscene, and then I can put the controller down and maybe fuck around on my phone for like 5 seconds and like listen to what's going on. So it's kind of nice. I kind of like the break, honestly, every once in a while.
Oh, in Metaphor, there's literally cutscenes that are over an hour long. So it's like pack a lunch. I shit you not. There's a cutscene in Metaphor that's 2.5 hours long. I sat down to play for the night, and I just watched the movie. And like it was excellent, but I was like, I kind of expected to play a game tonight.
Yeah.
But in that, like it was great. Don't get me wrong. And this is also like probably like 70 hours into the game anyway, so you're invested enough to care about this 2.5 hour cutscene.
Yeah,
it's just like, damn, the balls of Atlas to have this much dialogue in their video game without any gameplay was incredible.
Can you pause without losing progress? Because
yeah,
my concern is like
you could pause it. You could pause it.
Okay, because like what
it's
if
just
I have
long.
something to do? Mm-hmm. You know, and I'm like, man, I got to get to bed. I didn't realize we're going to be 2 hours into a cutscene. You know,
no, it's like you could pause it, and it's like you know text boxes, and you could have it autoplay and all that. So there's ways around it. It's just there's a lot of story in Metaphor. It is a story heavy game, but it's one of the best stories I think you'll ever experience in a video game. There's nothing else like it. Like Taylor hasn't even gotten to the good stuff yet. That's the crazy part, and he's loving it. So
yeah, it was like one of those games where I knew I was going to love it by first blush. So I'm excited to get deeper into it, because I'm only at 40 hours. I'm only scratching the surface, I think. So was it your game of the year for the year it came out?
For new games, yes. My game of the year, which a lot of my friends gave me a shit for, was Persona 3 Reload, which is a remake, but I just have such a soft spot for the Persona games. So,
hey, I get that. If it's remade enough, why not?
No, yeah, but if we're talking about new releases, Metaphor definitely, and Metaphor is definitely I don't know if it's fallen into top 10 category, but it's at least definitely in like the top 20, top 25 for sure. So
that's awesome.
It's some tough competition once you start getting up there. I've played a lot of games that I have way too many, you know. It's too much deep love for. It's hard for me to move it around whenever I play a new game that I love.
Yeah, I get that. Absolutely. Well, all right. Speaking a lot of RPGs, I feel like we talk a lot about RPGs anyway. But
already?
Yeah, I guess we'll go ahead and jump into our topic of the show here and not waste any time. Today we're going to be talking about best video games that are good beginner games for RPG players. So keeping in mind that RPGs are probably amongst us three, and then also Ian and a lot of the people that I think listen to the show here, probably our favorite genre. And so I think all of us have kind of built up a lot of experience in this particular genre, and I think there's a lot of people that are still new to it and still trying to get into it. So the way that I wanted to center the conversation is talking about like what games in particular that you would show somebody who's trying to get into RPGs, and then why you think it's a good beginner one. Also, additionally, if you have any strategies for getting into role-playing games as well, I'd love to hear about those. But that's pretty much our topic of the show and kind of what we'll be tackling here today. So we each have 3 games that we're going to share with you that we think are going to be good introductions into the world of role-playing games. And Craig, why don't you go ahead and lead us off here with your first pick?
Yeah, so I had 4 coming into the show, and I've been trying really hard to decide which one I wanted to cut. But, you know, I was going to go with a PC role-playing game, but I think one of you guys is probably going to talk about an MMO, so I think I'm going to hold off on the PC part of it and just go with more of an action role-playing game. And you guys might question this, but I think it's a great action role-playing game, and I got to give that to Cyberpunk 2077. I think that is an excellent, because it's not the typical genre you think of. It's not swords and spells and wizards and all that bullshit. It is you're not in space. It's not Mass Effect. So it's not either of these very popular setting that you usually see in a role playing game.
True.
It's cyberpunk, which is cool. We have a lot of cyberpunk media, in the movie realm, but not really ever in the video game realm, I feel. Cyberpunk 2077, as we all know, came out and it was kind of not good at launch, unfortunately. It's definitely, I'd argue it's almost a totally different game nowadays. If you were to play it now, it's a totally different experience. I played it at launch and I played it earlier this year, and I was astounded at how much was improved from the original version of that game. I think that Cyberpunk does not follow, the deepest of role-playing mechanics in terms of, every decision matters. You can only do this, that, the other. You're not going to lock yourself out of too many quests or possibly any quest. I know of one quest in particular, you could cut it short depending on the decision you make a side quest. But for the most part, it's kind of like a Skyrim where, you can pretty much do anything you want to at any time. You could piss people off, but you could still continue with whatever kind of route you want to take. Everything about the game feels fantastic. It's a big open world. There's lots to explore, lots to do. Even if you never played a game like this before, you could literally just walk around and find things to do. And I think the game does a very good job of teaching you all of this mechanics up front in the tutorial of the game. Pretty much up through the first kind of arc of the game, you're learning all the different kinds of environments that you could go into. You're learning about the different weapon types. You're learning about the ways that you can upgrade your skill tree. And I think that Cyberpunk does a fantastic way of showing the player how to do anything. And like I said, honestly, one of the biggest selling points for me is the setting and the atmosphere. Because, like I said, when you think of role-playing games, you think of space, you think of medieval. And this kind of is like a good example of you can be neither of these things and still be this genre of game that might be more appealing to you. If you have a friend who loves Blade Runner, it's like you have the perfect video game to get them into role-playing games, right? And
Sure.
I don't know if you can make that direct translation with a lot of other, favorite movies or books and things like that. And really, it's like Cyberpunk is obviously so heavily inspired by Blade Runner, which is written after what was essentially, based off of the book that was essentially the creation of the cyberpunk genre. My favorite book of all time, actually, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? So, I think that it is a very good first role-playing game for somebody to get into it.
Great pick.
Yeah.
Great pick. Especially now that it's
I'm sure you guys have both played it, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was one of the lucky ones when it came out that I actually did not encounter, I encountered very, very few technical glitches and bugs and was able to finish it, within, a month after it came out.
Was that on, Xbox or?
No, it was on PC, actually, weirdly enough.
Okay.
Because even at the time when it came out, my PC was kind of outdated.
Yeah.
And I was shocked. I was like, I think I maybe just got lucky. For whatever reason,
Crazy.
my broken down rig was able to run this thing, not flawlessly, mind you, but well enough to where there wasn't any game breaking bugs, or not even close to even what Ian experienced. Because I think Ian had a horrible experience with it when it first came out. So much so that I think he stopped playing. He was like, I'm done.
Oh yeah, I remember him telling me about it. He's like, yeah, I'm done playing and I'll wait for it for, when they're finished.
Yeah, that's a good pick though. I always kind of underestimate the ability to have a setting like that, like you mentioned, Craig, that isn't space or medieval, because so many RPGs are definitely in that pocket. It definitely provides a refreshing experience. So, speaking of which, actually, our glorious leader Ian wrote into the show.
There we go.
Talk a little bit about his RPG experience. So I'll go ahead and read that off here. Ian writes in and says, "Holy smokes, this is actually pretty tough, as RPGs have been my bread and butter for the vast majority of my gaming experience over the years. I've come to truly appreciate games that strike a balance between complexity of systems and ease of use. Here are 3 titles that I thought of. Number 1, Cyberpunk 2077.
There we
Nice.
go.
While this game has some relatively deep character creation from their physical appearance to the various class abilities, the way the story sets up, having a pre-voiced character I think is a great way to bring players who may be more inexperienced into the genre, as the high production value allows for the fun of a blockbuster AAA title while still giving the player enough agency to have a unique and gratifying RPG experience. He also writes The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. Skyrim feels like the how-to of accessible RPGs. Longtime players bemoan the loss of the crunchy RPG mechanics, but there's a reason it sold 60 million plus copies. And then Diablo 3. As I was able to get several people who have played nothing but sports or racing games to jump in and get addicted to Diablo 3. It's intuitive, rewarding, and highly addictive. The way stats from gear so clearly tie into each character's abilities and how noticeable and meaningful each upgrade becomes makes it easy for people new to the genre to get hooked on progress. I feel like that's what gets people into playing this genre, depends heavily on what they're playing. And for me, it's always been the chance to create a character much like a novelist would. Who is this person? What would they do in this situation based on their past experiences? I generally have more fun with RPGs than farther away from myself I make a character. That said, it also offers the ability to put yourself in the role of a hero or a villain, so RPGs are uniquely suited to be playable and fun for all. Either way, it's all about the flexibility of RPGs that allow every player to tailor their experience to their personal tastes. It's probably why they've become some of the most popular single-player games out there. Anyway, hope you're all having a great week. From the white sand beaches of Hawaii, your friend Ian.
Damn you.
Wish I was him.
So nice. I know, I've been seeing the posts on Instagram recently, and I'm just like, God, I wish that were me.
Dude, well, that's a good segue then, because one of my games that I have to say is a fantastic RPG for beginners is Diablo 3, and specifically Diablo 3. I remember I'm such a big fan of Diablo 2.
Same.
And I remember initially being very disappointed in Diablo 3, and I think that was kind of the general consensus of Diablo 2 players was this is not the sequel to Diablo 2. This is a very different game.
Yeah.
You still had the overhead RTS style of play, and it was definitely an RPG and kind of loot and kill and upgrade your weapons. But Diablo 3 definitely had an emphasis, and I think now, as time has passed, I've really grown to appreciate. It's a heavy emphasis on like getting new players into the genre, and it works really well. It's very simple. You know, your spells are pretty straight to the point. The way you level up is very easy and simple. They make it super smooth for you. You really, the only decision making that you have to make is like what type of class that you want to play. Everything else is pretty straightforward. It's going to hold your hand through all of it, which is also the same complaint that everybody has who love Diablo 2. But when I think of it when I started playing with people who don't know how to play video games, like, you know, if I am dating somebody and I'm trying to like teach somebody who's never like played games before, and I'm like trying to connect with them and find ways, Diablo 3 is like probably the number one game that I think of to like get somebody into it who's never played video games, because it's so easy to play and it's so satisfying at the same time. So I can't think of, I mean, I think Diablo 3 is like a really perfect game for somebody who's not just a beginner in RPGs, but a beginner with video games in general. It's very fun to play. It's satisfying. You're just killing a bunch of monsters, and all you have to really do is hold right trigger or press B a bunch. You know, It's very simple and so visually satisfying, and the sounds are great. You know, as time has passed, I've grown to really appreciate what Diablo 3 accomplished. And yeah, and maybe it wasn't what I wanted as a sequel to Diablo 2, but it is a great game to bring people together who don't necessarily play video games a whole lot and aren't, you know, really mechanically sound, which is what keeps most people who don't play games from playing it.
Yeah.
You know, it gets too difficult and they're like, well, you know, I'm not having fun because I don't understand what's happening. Diablo 3 is perfect for that. You don't need to understand what's happening. Just press a button and it's fine.
Yeah, there's got to be something to that too. I remember specifically as it relates to Diablo 3, um, one of my best friends, his wife got into RPGs from Diablo 3, and I think that she got like the collection on the Nintendo Switch for Diablo 3 that like came with all of the DLCs included in it for like super cheap, and she was like addicted to it for a really long time.
Yeah.
She historically it was like a farming sim kind of player, like played a lot of like um, Stardew Valley and stuff like that. So a little bit more like laid back fare, and then like Diablo was kind of like her gateway to get into like a little bit like more hardcore of a game, like with some RPG elements. And I think now she's playing like like Persona and some other stuff too. So she's getting like really deep into the RPG genre now. But
Nice.
Diablo 3 was kind of her gateway to do that. So yeah, there's definitely got to be something to it. And
Yeah,
I know people personally.
it gets your feet wet, and it's super easy. And then eventually you're gonna get past it. I would hope, and eventually you're
Yeah.
gonna be like, what else is there out there? Like what else could I do? So
They also were so smart with the way that they designed it to be played on controller as well.
yes,
It works
yes.
so well on a controller. It's just
Yes.
as good on controller as it is on a mouse and keyboard.
I think it's
and
better.
I think them nailing
I think
that,
it's better too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was one of the smartest decisions Blizzard ever made, was making that a console game as well, because people
Yeah.
think of it just as much of a console game now. And back then it was, especially for Diablo 1 and 2, it's like Diablo 1 was on PS1, but no one was playing that on PS1. People
Right,
scoff
yeah.
at that.
Yeah.
It's like they thought of that as a PC franchise, and 3 kind of brought it to way more people, and then it launched on Switch. Shout out to the Ganondorf armor on the Switch version. But yeah, they did a great job. That's an excellent choice. Good job.
Yeah.
I like that one, Kyle.
Thanks. They definitely pissed off a lot of people with that game, and including me. But as like I said, as time went on, I was like, okay, I understand what you were trying to do there. I think everybody was expecting Path of Exile,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and then they got this like dumbed down version, and so like hardcore Diablo 2 fans were like, no, this is not what I wanted.
Mm-hmm. As Taylor knows, my dad, famous huge Blizzard fan, and it's always had his approval. So to me, that's how I know it's a good game.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Diablo 3 too, like, and I don't get me wrong, I love 4, honestly. I think 4 is great. I probably won't play it more though until they put the Paladin in. So please put the Paladin in
Yeah.
Diablo 4. But Diablo 3 has aged like a fine wine. I feel like every time I've gone back to it since its release, it just gets better.
Yeah. It's perfect
Still looks
casual
great
game.
too.
Yeah.
So good. All right. So the way that I've kind of broken down my choices here is I have kind of like subsets of RPGs. So one of the ones I would think I'd be remiss to bring up is I think the best introduction to CRPGs or computer role playing games definitely has to be Baldur's Gate 3.
Mm.
And I think it's sold very, very well. So obviously, a lot of people are catching on to it and getting into it as a result, which is great. But I think Larian did an excellent job at creating a game in a genre that I feel like is very, very intimidating for many, many people. And I feel like they have simplified it to the point where I think if you're looking for a more technical RPG experience with like true dice rolling mechanics, you can number crunch and create a character that's min max to the specifications that you want, all the way down to like race, like passive bonuses or equipment bonuses. Like there's so much build crafting in a game like Baldur's Gate 3 that I think it hooks the hardcore gamer in all of us, that makes you really want to get into it. It's meaty, it has a lot of those crunchy mechanics, but at the same time it's got a really, really good story that I feel like doesn't overstay its welcome, with really, really excellently written characters that you care about, and it gets you into the loop of doing a lot of the companion quests. I feel like in a lot of RPGs, some of my favorite quests of all time have been the companion ones, where you're literally just going on a quest for one particular character to get to know them more
Yeah.
and come to a place of understanding. And I feel like Baldur's Gate does that very, very well. I recently got to experience somebody getting into it for the first time too. My girlfriend Anna was getting into Baldur's Gate 3, and it has totally opened up the floodgates for her on D&D specifically. D&D, I think, has always been something that she's always really wanted to get into, but I think she finds the real life role playing aspect to it a little bit more intimidating, and so she was totally closed off to that idea. And then after kind of sitting her down to play Baldur's Gate and getting her into it and having her take in the story, like she's super bought in. And we bought her like a dice set, so we're looking to get like involved in a campaign pretty soon.
Excellent.
Ooh.
Right? Like
One
the
of
addiction
us.
starts. So I couldn't be happier. But yeah, I think Larian has done an excellent job on the RPG front of getting people who wouldn't normally be into CRPGs and getting it in, getting them into that genre and creating the perfect introduction. So it's one of my favorite games of all time. It was definitely my game of the year for the year it came out. Well deserved on the praise. So I'm excited to see what Larian does next. Honestly, I don't think that they can do anything wrong. They've got a great team. So that would
They
be
definitely
my
set a high
first
bar.
choice.
I feel sorry for him because it's like, well, now this is what we're expecting, So,
Right.
Yeah.
From what I've heard, though, and great choice, by the way, Taylor. I know a lot of people that have gotten into CRPGs just because of Baldur's Gate, so I definitely think it's a good first entry. But it seems like Larian doesn't miss. I mean, people love the Divinity games too. I've never heard a single bad thing about any of their games for the last, I guess that would be 3 releases, right? Divinity,
Yeah.
Original Sin 1, 2, and Baldur's Gate 3. So I think they just they got the sauce. They know what they're doing.
That's what I was actually going to say, by the way. That's one of mine. I have 4, so similar to you, Craig. I was like, what should I get rid of? So that kind of decides it. So I'll quickly mention Divinity Original Sin 2 is definitely one of my favorite games, and
So
it's I wouldn't say prequel, but it's the game that Larian made before Baldur's Gate 3. And one thing I want to mention specifically is that it ports over to a controller very well. It's very smooth transition.
That's right. They're on PS4 and Xbox.
Yes,
that's right.
They do a really good job of actually porting it to a console. So even more so if you're new to RPGs and you're not, super comfortable with, sitting at a computer desk and stuff. Hey, I mean, these games play really well on the console as well. And yeah, I think that they're perfect games because also the pacing of it, right?
yeah.
These games can actually feel a bit overwhelming when you're first playing it, trying to get used to, how each stat affects the play, right? And learning how to, strategize and utilize fire in certain situations where the terrain might not be the best for it, that sort of stuff. It can feel overwhelming, but great part is you can sit there all day and learn it because it's turn-based.
Right.
So, take your time on it, enjoy it. Those games are great for beginners.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's one of the things I've always appreciated about turn-based RPGs in general too. Is I like the ability to sit and really think about my next move a lot. And don't get me wrong, like I love the fast, like twitchy action of like a action role playing game where I'm, like in a Souls like just dodging and parrying and stuff like that. But I really value the ability to sit down and kind of strategize, So
Yeah, definitely.
all right. Well, we did get another write-in as well, and we were talking about some farming sim RPGs a little bit earlier. So I wanted to go ahead and get to Tyler Fry's write-in, or our good friend Miles. He writes in and says, "Hey TSG, I had a hard time for this topic, but here's what I came up with. Number 1, Sea of Stars. A Chrono Trigger inspired game with nice art and an enjoyable story. I think this is a good introduction to turn-based RPGs with simple combat loops to start, but the game allows you the chance to get more complex with it as you go. Number 2, The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. Probably the definitive Western RPG. If you're looking to get immersed in the world, allow yourself to get lost in Skyrim. I don't know what I can say that hasn't been said before, but this game is magic, and I think it speaks for itself. Probably my favorite game ever, and the RPG I've spent the most time in. And number three, farm sim RPG games like Stardew Valley, Fields of Mystria, and Potion Permit.
That's a great
These
shout
games
out.
offer, right? I was agreeing with that too. These games offer a really gentle introduction to the idea of an RPG if you've never done it before. I think games like these allow you to get into the role play part of the game without feeling silly, especially if you've never played an RPG before. Mostly low stakes, relaxing, and offering the player a choice on how much to role play. These, I think, are a great introduction. Shout out to Potion Permit specifically, by the way. It's not very long, but it was made by an independent studio and played well. The story was cute, and the art is even more cute, and the characters are fleshed out more than I expected for such a small game. Getting into it, I would also like to recommend playing tabletop RPGs. If you have a group and you all agree on what you want out of the game, I think it can be a great way to start getting into RPGs. I think Skyrim was the first time I took an RPG as serious as possible, and it definitely got me into the genre in a way nothing else had before. I played some JRPG games on the PS1 and PS2, but I never fell in love with assuming the character I was playing. I never fell in love with the character I was playing until Skyrim. Turn out the lights, point a fan directly at me so I can try and replicate the cold of Skyrim down in Florida, and sink a whole day into it like it's nothing. Sorry for the long response, Miles.
That was great.
That
Do
was
not
very good.
apologize, Miles. That was great.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. You really sold me, Miles, on the turning the fan on you while you're playing Skyrim to kind of emulate the cold.
That's
I always
awesome.
love
That's
that.
pretty cool.
I'm gonna play Oblivion later, and I'm gonna turn my heater on.
Right? The heat of
Melt
hell.
away the gates of Oblivion.
Hey, that'll be for your Doom playthroughs.
Right?
Yes, there we go. Perfect.
Immersive.
Get a space heater under my ass the whole time.
I do want to push back a little bit, Miles, because I don't know about you, but when I played Stardew Valley, it got a little sweaty sometimes. I'm going to be honest. Once you're like, you only have like so much time in a day, and you're like, I have so many things that I need to do. This is starting to become stressful.
Yeah. That's awesome. All right. Well, moving on here. Let's go with you, Kyle, for your next one.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I mean, Miles mentioned it. I mean, how can you not talk about Elder Scrolls V Skyrim?
Oh, yeah.
When we're talking about starter games for people getting started on RPGs. Similar to Diablo 3, I think that there is something to be said about creating a game that's easily accessible to the general public, and when it comes to actually handling the game and the mechanics, but then like not losing out on the depth of the game and the overall like experience, because I do think that sometimes games cater too much to the general public, and then you end up with like a really bland game that like nobody cares about, you know.
Right.
Skyrim really hit the nail on the head with that, where, you know, it's not like Oblivion or Morrowind in the sense of like, I mean, really you have to be a bit more experienced with RPGs to play these games because they're not as easy, and you will die quite a bit if you're not a little bit smarter about how you play it. Skyrim is like, you can literally do whatever you want, and you're just gonna beat the crap out of everything. Like, it doesn't matter, and it's so much fun at the same time. It doesn't feel cheap. It's so much fun, and yeah, there's just so many different ways you can play it. Right? You know, you've got all the different classes and you know, sub stories that you can go through. You can be the sneaky assassin and using a bow and blades. You can be that brute force who comes in with a two-handed hammer. Or, you know, you can go through the Mages Guild. I mean, all the stories are pretty darn good, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing I would say that's kind of lacking, I guess, is just the main overall story was kind of like, it's good, but, you know, eh. But, like, the side stories is where it's at, and the universe is so incredible. Boy, what an experience, like, the first time playing that game and the hype and having the game actually kind of meeting the hype. That rarely ever happens.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Especially
rarer and rarer nowadays, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, especially for Bethesda, right? So, but what can I say? I mean, it's so easily accessible. If you're new to games in general, again, this is a great game to pick up because you really can't go wrong. The controls are pretty basic, and don't worry, as long as you're clicking right trigger, you're going to kill just about everything in front of you. So, it's I really can't give it enough praise. It's the perfect game to pick up and play if you're not really trying to get too sweaty about it, and still have a pretty cool and unique experience where you can kind of be who you want to be.
Yeah, I like you mentioning that the main story is kind of lacking, but I think that's kind of the magic of Elder Scrolls games in general, is that you make your own stories, right?
Yeah.
You come across things and you have all these unique experiences, and it's like you love when someone brings up, Skyrim. I feel like everyone has like, oh yeah, I remember when this thing happened to me in Skyrim and it was so fun and I couldn't believe this or that. I feel like that's kind of the magic of Elder Scrolls is the stories that you kind of make on your own on accident. So
yeah, like the bugs. Like the bugs are like, that's a Bethesda game,
Yeah.
Like when a giant like whacks you and you fly off the map, it's like, that's just, in a way, I like that. Like,
yeah, it sticks with you.
Yeah. It makes for very unique experiences. I like that.
Definitely.
Aw, did somebody steal your sweet roll? Whenever that quote is one I always think of when I think of Skyrim, that and never should have come here.
Dude, yeah. Or you can't, I mean, the arrow to the knee has gone way beyond what the game actually is. I mean, I think everybody knows what that is, and they don't even know, they don't have to necessarily know what Skyrim is,
Right? So true.
A lot of quotable moments.
So many quotable moments. Really, in Elder Scrolls in general, I feel like, because Oblivion's got a lot of those lines too.
Man, I'm still not over it. I beat Oblivion for the first time this year, and all I want to do is go back and keep playing Oblivion Remastered. It's so good.
It's so good, yeah.
So good.
It is. I was actually going to say, I had Elder Scrolls as my like Western RPG pick, but I picked Oblivion instead. Actually.
Okay.
And for the reason that you mentioned earlier, Kyle, I think the main story of Oblivion, I think, is hands down way better.
Oh, yeah.
It's so good.
And so
I thought it was excellent.
It's really, really well done. And then, like, obviously, like, the Dark Brotherhood is always, like, I think that's the best Dark Brotherhood quest that there's ever been.
Incredible.
All right. Craig, what's your next one?
So, I am a big fan of tactical role-playing games.
Ooh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, so I wanted to give a shout out to what I think is the best tactical role-playing series and what I think is the best entry to the series and kind of the tactical role-playing genre. And I think this would be a pick for a lot of people that are fans of Fire Emblem, and that would be Fire Emblem Awakening. So, Fire Emblem Awakening, I was going to say, anyone that's played this game, I've never met a single soul that doesn't like this game. If you don't like it, it's wrong. Fire Emblem Awakening is just, it's so good. It is such a smooth, fun, emotional experience. It's so, for those of you that don't know, tactical role-playing games, imagine chess with more numbers is essentially the best way to put it. So you got your board, you have your units that can move however many moves up, diagonal, right, whatever it might be, depending on whatever stats they have. And you have an army, and you're going against another army. And you're basically just trying to, move all your characters around, take out that army without losing, more of your guys. And depending on the tactical role-playing game, there may or may not be this thing called permadeath, which is, as far as I know, introduced and popularized by Fire Emblem because it has been around since the original Fire Emblem in the 1980s. Or it might have been early 90s. It might have been like 1991. I cannot remember when Shadow Dragon came out, but it was very long time ago, basically.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people, permadeath is a very scary thing. Like, you hear that and you're like, oh, I don't want to play a game where I could lose my character forever. That sounds awful. Well, great thing about Fire Emblem Awakening, first game in the series in the West that came out where you could turn off permadeath. So if you're worried about getting too attached to your characters and losing them...
That's me.
Yeah, you could turn off permadeath, and you could make some more risky moves without having to reset an hour progress. So one thing that's a bit different about tactical role-playing games is there's not usually a self-insert character to some side. The role-playing game is much more on the stats, the dice rolling, the probability, more that kind of role-playing side of things. But to me, it's like playing a role playing game and a puzzle game at the same time, and I absolutely love that stuff. Fire Emblem Awakening is probably the best choice if you want to get into the genre of tactical role playing game because it has multiple difficulty levels, so you could have it on baby easy mode, you could turn off the permadeath, or you could have it on disgustingly brutally hard, and you could have permadeath, and you could be going through the same map over and over again, restarting because you keep losing your favorite character, and you want to figure out a way to make that favorite character make it to the end of the map. One reason I know this is a great entry point to the genre is my younger sister, actually. So probably about a decade ago now, my younger sister, only games that she would ever play is like, Sonic Adventure 2 specifically for the Chow Garden, Animal Crossing, Life is Strange, games of that vein, right?
Yeah.
She was bored one day, and I was like, hey, try this out. I just beat this game recently, and I really liked it. And she was like, oh, this looks like some nerd shit. And I was like, just try it. I really liked it, and I want to see if you like it too. And she beat it in 3 days. This is not a short game. She completely engulfed herself in it, absolutely loved it. The first time I played Fire Emblem, I was afraid of permadeath, so I turned it off, and I didn't want to have to lose anybody. She played it with permadeath, and she got through it like a champion. And to this day, I'm just like, man, my sister is probably a better gamer than me, and she plays less games than I do, so that feels good.
That's hardcore.
Yeah, exactly. But it's this game has excellent cast of characters, excellent story, fantastic music, fantastic map design, and I think that if you want to get into tactical role playing games, I'm not sure if there's a better entry for you to choose.
I have to check it out. I mean, you had me at the strategy RPG, but like numbers involved. I'm like, my math brain was like, what?
Yeah, because it's like, it's like everything's probability. So it's like, you might have a 90% chance to hit the enemy. They have a 40% chance to hit you. But 40% isn't 0, and 90% isn't 100. So it's like, for better or for worse, things don't always work out in your favor. And that's kind of the thrill of it. Is when you get that lucky crit or you get that lucky dodge and stuff like that. It's like it's exhilarating in a weird way.
Yeah.
It's like I remember earlier this year I played a different Fire Emblem, the Sacred Stones, and it was like a 33% chance to hit the final hit on the final boss, and he had a 90% chance to hit me. But I was going first, and I was like, well, I've made it this far. I'm just going to try it. And let me tell you, when I hit with 33% and I had the 1% critical hit, critical hit, I was like, oh my god, let's go! It was so exciting. It was so hype. There's no better feeling than, it's like you feel like you hit the lottery in a video game. It's just excellent. So, and again, a lot of these games, anime adjacent looking, but without the anime cringe, in my opinion. So another one where it's like, if you're not into the JRPG kind of style, I still think that you could get a lot of enjoyment out of this.
Tactical RPGs are a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with Wasteland 3 and gosh, what's that other one? I can't think.
That's
of it.
one I'd love to get into.
Yeah, I really want to check out the Wasteland series. I haven't played any of them.
Yeah, Wasteland 3 is great. Definitely want to try that one out. Yeah, that'd be. Gosh, man, you're convincing me now. Why do we let Craig
It's
on
good.
here? I'm gonna start playing all the JRPGs and.
I was gonna say, you put me on the show. I get to talk about a lot of games that you guys don't know about. I play a lot of old stuff, a lot of weird stuff, a lot of Japanese stuff.
Yeah,
I feel
Taylor knows me.
I was gonna say I feel outnumbered on this show a lot, so I'm glad to have another weeb here to help defend me.
Yes,
boy.
Kyle, do you have a Switch by chance?
Truly,
I don't actually. I've just got the Xbox, PlayStation, and PC.
All right, we'll find a way to get you Fire Emblem, but
it's only on the one. Oh, come on.
Yeah, well, it's a Nintendo franchise, unfortunately.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, and then Awakening is a 3DS game, so another one where it's like not really easily accessible. But if you have a 3DS or computer that can run a 3DS emulator,
I think Ian's got a Nintendo system somewhere.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because Awakening's not a very expensive game either. I think it's like maybe $20-$30 for a cartridge if you just care about playing the game. So might be worth the investment. It's a great time. I know Taylor's played this one, so he could vouch for me.
Yeah, I was gonna say I love Awakening. It's definitely my top 3 favorite Fire Emblem games, and I also really appreciate that game because it was the Fire Emblem game that I think really hit big in the West. Like I think
It's what saved the franchise. So
Yeah.
Intelligent Systems has gone on record to say if that game didn't succeed, they were going to stop making Fire Emblem games because they stopped selling as well the last couple of entries. So save the franchise, and now Fire Emblem Three Houses, I think, is the best-selling tactical role-playing game of all time.
What?
Oh, that game is so good too.
Mhm.
That game is so good.
And that's another one where it's like, talk about getting your money's worth. You have 3 routes of different, variations of stories. Each route is like 60 hours long. It's like, you get your money's worth.
Wow.
It's incredible.
That is crazy.
It's so good.
That reminds me of those those old Final Fantasy games where it would be on like 4 or 5 discs.
Yeah.
Yeah. But honestly, I'm shocked Three Houses is as popular as it is, because I actually feel like it's one of the less accessible ones because it's so deep. There's like almost so many options that it's intimidating. You have endless possibilities, and there's almost like, what do I do? Like any character, you can make any class, you can make all these different route decisions. You have a calendar system, and each day you choose what you're going to do with what units, what side quests, if you're going to do anything at all. It's like, I almost think that there's too much. So I wouldn't say Three Houses is a good first choice, but it's the most popular choice. It's the best-selling game of its genre. So
yeah, Baldur's Gate makes me feel that way too. There's like kind of a linear path, but it's not very straightforward, and it's like there's just so many different things you can be doing, and I'm like,
yeah. You feel like you're missing out if you don't check every nook and cranny, right?
Yeah. Like if I find a door, I'm like, I gotta go in there. I'm gonna forget about it later.
You're like, that might be the best side quest I've ever experienced, and if I walk by it, I'll forget about it.
Yep.
No, it's true. I love the Fire Emblem games too. Yeah. Three Houses, I don't know about like a beginner RPG, but definitely if you're like well versed in the genre, man, is it so good. Yeah, I played through the one playthrough for, I think it was the Black Eagles house or whatever.
My girl Edelgard, one of the best characters in all of video game history. Honest to God,
cool.
She's so good. She's one of the best written characters in any video game. She's so good.
I agree. All right, we'll move on to my second pick here. I'll do MMORPGs for this one, and I think that this one might surprise people.
Mabinogi by Nexon.
Maple Story.
Yes, let's go.
No, I think most people would expect me to say World of Warcraft for this one. Au contraire, not true. I think the best beginner MMORPG is Final Fantasy XIV.
Really?
Yes. Now, one of the things I'll say is that the free trial that you get with the game does a lot of the heavy lifting, because there's a ton of content that you can play in Final Fantasy XIV for absolutely free. So no like subscription fee required. And I think you get like 2 of the expansions that come after the vanilla game. The vanilla game, I want to say, is like, for just the main story, is I think like close to 50 hours long. And then each expansion after that adds like an extra like 15 or 20. So you get a ton of content for like no money, which is really, really cool. And I just think that this game does a really good job of getting you immersed into MMORPG mechanics really, really well. First off, I think it's probably the MMO that's got the best story out of them, because it actually has a dedicated main story path. So if you're not feeling like doing any of the other stuff, like you're not like a big time like raider, or you don't want to like run like really difficult content, you can literally just coast through playing the main story quests for the however long, the quest is that you want to do. And I think that you get a perfectly acceptable or even exceeding acceptable experience from just that main story quest. And one of the things I like about it as well is that it's a Final Fantasy game that when you play the single player aspect of it, feels like a Final Fantasy game. I think a lot of MMOs have a universe that I think doesn't fit along with the series that it comes from specifically. I think even Warcraft has a little bit of that, where it's kind of like the story of Warcraft and then moving on to World of Warcraft. Like, it's the same universe, the same story, the same characters, but the characters are a lot different in World of Warcraft than they are in Warcraft. And so I think it tends to make a less cohesive experience. But the nice part is that in Final Fantasy XIV, like, there is a really lovable cast of characters. Your main character is kind of called the Warrior of Light, and so you're working with all of these different factions to help like restore different parts of the country that you're living in, and fighting against kind of like an evil shadowy sort of organization. So I just think that they weave in that story really really well with the actual RPG side of it too. And the nice thing about it too is that they have AI companions in the game now too. So if you aren't somebody who likes to get into a party with people or think it's extremely intimidating, you can literally have a serviceable set of bots to help you through the dungeons and through the raids to be able to actually like do content. So the nice part is that if you don't have like a guild or like a free company that you raid with or do content with frequently, you can actually still get involved in the content and see the story through to the end without ever actually having to like chat anybody or get into like a Discord group or like whatever the case is. So I've really appreciated that about Final Fantasy, especially because there's been times even in World of Warcraft where I've wanted to see the story of the expansion, but I actively can't because I don't want to have to go through the like process of joining a guild and being super social and like getting to know a big group of people and then having a place to be every Thursday and Tuesday. You know, it just ends up being like a big time commitment that I don't always want to have to make. And I love that Final Fantasy 14 allows you to play it just like you would a single player game. And I don't think that there's any other MMO out there that does it as good as Final Fantasy 14. Although I will say, one game that does approach its quality in terms of story and game design is Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Oh,
Yeah, I've been a really big defender of Star Wars: The Old Republic for a really long time. And it's kind of sad because it's one of those games that I think is kind of on its way out. Like nobody really plays it anymore. But every once in a while, I'll probably return to Star Wars: The Old Republic like once or twice a year and play through it, and it's still like a really really good story. Like even just playing through some of the class quests, like if you play through the Bounty Hunter quest line, that's a phenomenal quest line. You could play through the Jedi Knight story, also a phenomenal quest line. So I really love that a lot of these MMOs are kind of selling themselves as almost single player experiences now with an optional multiplayer aspect.
yeah,
So
that's really important.
yeah,
Because there's definitely like a lot of MMOs where it's like you can't pass go now. You need to get a bunch of
exactly.
friends, otherwise you're not going to enjoy this game.
Yeah, and it's like most of the time I feel like doing that, but then there's definitely times where I'm like, I don't want to do that whole thing. Like,
Yeah,
like getting to know my guild mates and like sometimes they're nice, sometimes they're not.
Big
And then
coworker energy.
for sure. And then you're going through the process of like getting gear and it's like, all right, who needs this? And I'm like, me.
They're
And
like, oh, you don't have anything.
there's another guy who doesn't actually need it, but he's like, oh, I need it here, and then you have to roll off against that fucking guy. So it sucks sometimes. So
That's
I
funny.
like that Final Fantasy cuts out all the bullshit.
I want to play it so bad, but I like beating video games, and you can't beat them in MMO, so that's why I just don't even bother. But I also love Final Fantasy, so
You would love it, Craig. I'm not even kidding you. I think that it's like I think you could fall in love with it for sure.
I know. But are you willing to like play it with me?
Oh, 100%.
Okay, maybe I should just do it then.
I've been looking for an excuse to go back to it, actually. I've just been waiting for somebody
I'd like
to
to do
jump
it.
in. So
Because I always want to try that, and then I always want to start ESO back up because I love ESO as well. But it's like I said, I like
ESO's
finishing
good.
games. I'm looking right now. I've beaten 47 games this year. It's like I got to keep these numbers
God
going.
damn.
Dang,
I'm a
dude.
madman, and it's like I wouldn't be able to do that if I played an MMO because that would be all I
No.
play.
That'd be cut in half.
I like
A
having a
third.
big a big list of games that I finish every year. But Final Fantasy 14 is definitely one that is always on the back of my mind because I'm like I know I'd like it. I know I would like it. So
40 some games is crazy, Craig. You know how many games I've beaten this year?
how many?
2.
Let's go.
2. God.
Yeah, I don't know. I like finishing games, and I lose sleep over it sometimes because I'd rather play games than sleep. So
Yeah.
Me both.
actually, I think the next game on my suggested games beat for the first time this year. Probably the best game I played this year.
Well, let's hear it.
Really?
You're up next.
So, if you want to get into the Japanese role-playing game, Chrono Trigger is the game to play.
Hey, there you go. Shout
Chrono
out
Trigger
Miles.
is probably a perfect video game. Not even just a perfect role-playing game. It's like, is it my favorite game of all time? Personally, no. But I don't know if there's actually anything wrong with it. It's probably one of the few flawless video games out there. Like, I'd put it up there with, like, Super Metroid, Super Mario World. Like, these games don't have anything wrong with them. And this is the only JRPG where I'm like, it's perfectly paced. Every character is likable. There's not a single bad song. Everything is perfectly balanced. You don't have to do any grinding if you don't want to. Where you need to go is fairly clear. You know, it's like if you can't figure out where to go, you could do the thing where you talk to people and you figure out where to go. You don't need a guide for this game. There's plenty of excellent optional content, but none of it is required. You get to make decisions that have effects on different aspects of the game. So Chrono Trigger, mostly traditional Japanese role-playing game. It's turn-based with an asterisk. It kind of does the active battle time system as introduced in Final Fantasy IV, where you kind of build up to when you can make your move. And the combat system is very fun and unique. It involves, placement of your characters being near each other or further away. And your enemies being near or further away, your attacks have different size hitboxes. So it's like if you wait for the enemies to move around on the screen to get close to each other, you can do an attack that will hit both of them at once, opposed to just one. So there's a unique battle mechanic there. Also, shout out to the fact that there's no screen transition when you do battles in this game. I always thought it was super cool that you just fight exactly where you are. Such a cool little detail that like almost no other role-playing games do. I always love that about it. But yeah, I think that this game, like I said, perfectly paced, great cast, basically no grinding required. There's just nothing wrong with it, and for that, it's like it might set your standard a little too high for when you're going to be playing other Japanese role-playing games. But I think it'd be hard not to fall in love with Chrono Trigger once you play it for the first time.
Dang.
Yeah, that's a good one. I played a little bit of Chrono Trigger like several years ago, and I didn't end up beating it, unfortunately, but I think I got like, I want to say like 4 or 5 hours into it, and was having a really, really good time with it. It's definitely one I would love to go back to.
Yeah, it's like you're traveling through different time periods, so you're seeing a lot of different environments throughout, tens of thousands, if not millions of years, which is cool to see, because it's the same map throughout different periods of time. What you do in one time period will affect what happens in another time period, so your choices and things that you do matter. Right off the bat, I guess it's not really a spoiler, because it's probably like within the first 30 minutes of the game, but you go to a carnival as Chrono, the titular Chrono Trigger, and you're going around, and there's tons of mini games to do. You could either choose to interact or not interact, but there's probably about 5 to 10 choices where when you go to jail soon after, everything that you've done is held liable against you in court. And that kind of tells you, hey, what you do can have effects on other things in this game. Make sure you're not being a dick. Make sure if someone needs help, maybe you help them out. Maybe if someone wants to plant their plant or water their plant, you help water their plant. Because, in 10,000 years, maybe that plant will be a tree that could help you in some way, shape, or form. And the game does a really good way of communicating that to you without being an actual tutorial, which I think is really cool. And I absolutely love when games show, don't tell. That's something that I think most games do a poor job at, and Chrono Trigger does an excellent job at.
Now, you're talking about the one released in 95?
Yes.
Cool, okay. I'm just making sure I'm looking at the right one.
Like I said, played it for the first time this year, holds up perfectly to this day. It is an excellent, excellent game. If you're a fan of Dragon Ball, the artwork was done by Akira Toriyama. Rest in peace to the GOAT. Holds up very well. The people that worked on the game were Yuji Horii and what is his name? I can't remember. Yuji Horii worked on Dragon Quest, and then the guy who worked on the Final Fantasy games. Taylor, do you remember his name? I'm totally blanking right now. Worked on like the first 10 or 11 of them.
God, I can't remember.
Guess it doesn't matter, but yeah, basically like three goats of like Japanese media came together to make this game, and you could tell because it's one of the best games ever made.
Yeah, it's got a perfect score on IGN.
Sounds about right.
Called a masterpiece by Lucas Thomas.
I definitely think that is a masterpiece. Like I said, it's not my personal favorite game of all time, but it's like on the short list of games where I'm like, it's not really anything wrong with it. It's like it's pretty much flawless in every way. So
I think out of like if you took a sample of like 100 people from our demographic of like 30 plus year olds, I think it would show up in like probably like 75 to 80% of top tens if you had to like list them out. So
probably, yeah.
It's
especially like for the JRPG pick, it would be that or Final Fantasy VII. So
yeah, it's definitely
it should be Final Fantasy VI, but most people will pick 7.
Yes.
I've been converted.
God, I love Final Fantasy VI.
So good.
Cool. Kyle, did you have another pick for us?
Yeah, absolutely. Boy, I would be remiss not to talk about, one of my favorite series of all time. And I think that it's a perfect game for somebody who's getting started into RPGs for the simple fact that it's pretty easy to get used to control-wise. It's kind of like the similar theme that I'm going with here. But it's definitely got to be the Mass Effect series for me.
Nice.
Especially, Mass Effect 1 might be a little bit more difficult for you to get into because it's definitely more of an RPG, like, through and through. It's got its shooter elements to it, which is what can help you through it all. But it's definitely more of a raw RPG where you're leveling up a lot of different stats, and that part can be kind of overwhelming. But, if I could give you any tip, just upgrade your health and your gun damage, and you're going to be okay.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's just a great story throughout. I love the way that all three of them are put together, kind of like a movie trilogy. It really does kind of fit together like that. A lot of the same characters are, going to be the same companions unless you make some dumb choices. They're going to be the same companions that you have throughout all three games. For the most part, and if they're not your companions, they'll be characters within the storyline that which is even better in my opinion. You kind of run into them throughout the story. But yeah, I mean, I can't say enough. Especially the second one specifically, it takes your hands off the wheel a little bit more. There's a lot more cutscenes. It's really more about the story. The only difficult part to learn about the mechanics is you have to get used to playing shooter games, which is its own monster. But if you're transitioning from shooter games and you want to play RPGs, this is the right one for you. Yeah, action-packed, story's incredible. You all know from previous episodes that it's definitely, especially Mass Effect 1, but I would really say the whole series is definitely a top 5 game of all time for me. So yeah, I mean, that's all I really have to say about it. It's a great story. It's really enticing. Your companions, make sure that you do all the side quests and you talk to them as much as you can. It's a classic BioWare game where you're going to have a lot of times on the ship where you're just chatting everybody up, and you should take advantage of that because every companion is truly unique and has a great story behind them. BioWare really nailed it on this one, and yeah, I think it's just a great introduction, a perfect blend of story with the RPG elements to it. Mass Effect 2 kind of steps away from it. It's more of like a movie. But 1 and 3 are definitely a little bit heavier on the RPG side of things.
Yeah, and if you end up really being into the first one, you will be sad that the RPG elements get scaled back so drastically, because that was one of the things I was definitely sad about going to 2 and 3. But I mean, either way, they're really, really good games.
Yeah, I think they kind of realized that, and I feel like it got more of a better blend, kind of more in the middle with the third one. The second one was definitely like, all right, this is just like a movie with like some shooting scenes in between.
Right.
I know, I need to get back to it. I've never finished any Mass Effect. I've only played some of the first one, and I really enjoyed what I played of it. It was one of those games where I almost got scared, though, because I started reading all like the different like codex entries of different things you can see, and I was like, oh man, I'm like, I could do just this reading of the lore of this world for probably hundreds of hours. I'm like, this is almost an intimidating amount of world building, but I really respected it. I really liked it.
True Carpathian, baby.
Yes. Fun fact: I got the Legendary Collection on PS4 a day early because the Walmart by me was selling it early, so I actually got it before Street Date, which was cool. But it almost makes it even more embarrassing that I never finished it. So I need to get back to it.
Day early, still didn't beat it.
Exactly, because I know I'll love them. I know I will. It was just one of those things where it's like, you know, sometimes you play a really good game at the wrong time, and it was just in the moment. I was like, I don't know what it was, but I just wasn't feeling it, even though I was enjoying it. So I put it down and just didn't go back. So one day I'll start fresh and probably binge all 3 in a row, because I feel like it's almost like Lord of the Rings coded, where it's like you want to do it back to back to back. So
for sure, yeah. I mean, once you finish the first one, I doubt you'll be able to like not play the second one
right after, right?
Yeah.
So
for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I had a third one, but honestly, I think we pretty much covered most of the ones I would have talked about anyway. I think we've talked about several of them, so I think
that's
I'm
what
good
you get
on my
for bringing
side.
Craig around.
Right?
I'm sorry.
Exactly.
I'm sorry. I feel like I'm a yapper. I don't mean to overtake the show too much.
No. I just meant in the sense of like you guys definitely are like, you know, a little bit closer on this type of stuff that you like. So
Yeah,
I definitely, I could see that happening. That's just going to happen naturally.
I do have, if you guys don't mind, a mention of a game that's not beginner friendly, but once you get into role playing games, I would love everyone to play, because I feel like not enough people have played the original Fallout 1, and that is probably the most immersive role playing experience I've ever had in a video game. I never felt so invested in myself, like as a character playing a role playing game, as I have Fallout 1. But Fallout 1 is hardcore. It is extremely difficult. It's zero hand holding, so it's not a beginner friendly game. But once you get your feet wet and you want to play, a CRPG, that's on the deeper, more hardcore side, you got to check out Fallout 1 eventually, because it is so good. It's so good. The fact that I played through that game and I didn't kill a single enemy, I was able to do the entire thing as a pacifist. One of the most unique game experiences I ever had. I thought that was incredible. So,
damn, that's cool. Maybe that's the route to go on too, because I remember I tried Fallout 1 like maybe a couple years ago or last year or something, and I found it to be like incredibly obtuse. Like, and even for somebody like me,
it's so hard.
who I kind of pride myself on my ability to put myself in the shoes of somebody in the early 2000s or like the 90s. Like, even I was kind of having difficulty with the combat. So
you're like, what the fuck do I do?
I was like,
all these rats are killing me.
Kind of fitting though for the vibe in the universe, though, right?
Exactly.
Kind of a wasteland.
The fact that you can play a game like that as a pacifist and still like beat it, get the true ending and all that different stuff, incredible experience. So, like I said, not beginner friendly at all, but if you end up liking the genre, make sure you play it one day, because that was just one of the most memorable experiences I ever had playing a video game was Fallout 1. Incredible.
Yeah, I do want to try it. Like I said, I really liked Wasteland 3, and the founder of In Exile is the founder of the same company. What was it called? Interplay Entertainment, that created Fallout 1, and Wasteland 3 is actually said to be basically like a spin-off, essentially, of the original like Fallout games.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I've heard it's like Wasteland's kind of like the spiritual successor for that style of Fallout game.
And then if you end up really liking it, the creator Tim Kaine, he has a YouTube channel called Tim Kaine on Games, and he uploads like every other day, just talking about like game industry stuff and game design and the way his brain works and the way he came up with things back in the day. Super fascinating stuff. So if you're like deep into the nerdy shit like that, the creator of Fallout has a YouTube channel where he talks about making video games, and I don't know about you guys, but I think that's the coolest shit ever. So,
for sure, cool. That's awesome. Good shout out on that. I'm definitely gonna try it out. I'm looking at like a picture of it. I'm like, you know what? The graphics don't look too bad.
Nah, and it's like I was playing that game when I was in between jobs, waiting to start a new job. So it's like I was playing that at like 1, 2, 3 in the morning every night with the lights off. It's not much of a soundtrack, mostly just like atmospheric kind of noises and a lot of ambience, and it's a very unique experience. There's nothing else like Fallout 1. Maybe Fallout 2, but I haven't played Fallout 2. So but even that wasn't made by Interplay, so who knows?
That's awesome.
Yeah. All right. Well, Kyle, did you have any other ones you wanted to shout out here?
Oh, let me think. Oh, I won't talk about it too much, but I do think the original Dragon Age games are a great one, because they are a very, in my mind, when I think about like just a classic RPG, like through and through, Dragon Age Origins, I think of those type of games, where, even making the different choices of like, you're not just an elf, but you get to choose like where you start as an elf, what is your background story, and it actually changes where you start in your story, and affects everything else about the story throughout the game. I thought that was really unique at the time, when I played it, when I was younger. So I think those are really good games, and they still kind of hold true today, that you could still play them, and they're a lot of fun, and the actions, the combat, I should say, is actually pretty easy to understand and learn. So that's a quick shout out, I would say, is Dragon Age games are a lot of fun. We'll see about Veilguard. I know Ian's playing it, but
Yeah. No, that's a series that I have to get into as well. So hopefully soon I would love to play through all 3 of those and get some experience with it. But all right, I think that will wrap up episode 70 of the Solo Gamer Podcast. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening once again and joining us for another week. We'll be back next week with our regularly scheduled programming, and will Ian be back by next episode? I don't remember.
Yeah, he's going to be back here this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So
okay, cool.
So they're going to take me out like Old Yeller and
take him out back.
Bring back the true lineup.
Dude, we got to do this more, man. It's been fun, Craig.
No, hell yeah. I enjoyed talking to you. This is the first time I've talked to you, Kyle, I think, at all, pretty much. So you're a cool dude. I'd like to get to know you more. And if you guys ever want to have a fourth on once in a while, or if you need to fill in if one of the 3 of you is missing, I'd be down. I'm always down to talk games with you guys. So
appreciate it.
Yeah, man. You are always welcome. One last time, did you want to plug anything before we left off?
Yeah, sure. So on my channel on YouTube and on podcast services, Craig's Game Room, Generations Behind is the retro video game show that I do. And if you're into video game collecting, I do a bi-monthly show twice a month with my friend Christian Bird Dog Gaming on his channel called Collective Perspective, where we talk about the collectability of video games. So if you like wasting your money on video games like I do, that is the perfect show for you.
Hope you're listening, Ian.
There you go. All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining us again. Craig, Kyle, it's been a pleasure. And we will see you all next week. Later.
Take care.
Bye, guys.